Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk Show with myself and perhaps Tom. Don't know. Maybe he's having difficulty getting the hamsters running. But we have an abbreviated show today, so I did not want to delay. We've got about an hour, and we're going to make good use of it. We're going to talk about 3 things, I hope. And yeah, that's kind of the plan. We have the reason for the abbreviated show is because we've got Lorena Creel doing theme park therapy with Chris Gore starting in just under an hour and a half. But with that, I'm being joined by the man himself, Mr. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge Archives, Midnight's Edge Espanol, Mead Radio 1, Mead Radio 2, and very soon, Midnight Snacks. How are you doing, Tom?
Snacking now.
Ah, he's got a snack. What is that snack?
Pizza.
Pizza. Wow. So Tom's having lunch, everybody. So there you go.
Yeah, that's on the fly because I had to edit a video.
Oh, yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Still not done.
Nah, I know you're always working, and that's awesome, dude. We only got 3 subjects covered. We got about an hour to do it in, and then I'm off to go do stuff with Lorena, do the theme park therapy session. So that'll be fun. But let's say hi to those folks that showed up early. We got a few of them here. We got Hamdinger, of course, saying, I like Tom. Yes, I like Tom too. We've got Morgan King out there. Commander Id Straker of Shadow. Yeah, she who must be obeyed. Indeed, yeah. We've got Zachrot 315. Jordan Lee is in the house saying, Tom, you should connect with Rabbi from Another Planet. He's doing some great coverage of Doctor Who. Yeah, he does some great artwork, too. I have, or I should say his book had some great artwork. I have those books. We got, let's see. Gary's rubbing off on so many showrunners. Yeah, I know. Louvrian Imakar is here. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's see who else is here. D. Bud Martin is in the house. I did get your email. I've reviewed it. I'm going to actually try to put it into a video form, I think, Louvrian. So there you are. Casparius, good to see you, my friend. Luke is here. What's up, Luke? Let's see. A couple other folks. Dapper Bard Games. I think I said hi to D-Bud already. He's got Turtle Pizza. There you go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we got a Punk Trace. Good to see you, my friend, with a cool super sticker, which is the evil face sticker. And there's Das Wolfen. Good to see you, my friend. Dr. Dragon sent a thumbs up as his member chat for the month. And Tommy's here. What's up, Tommy? Tommy, can you hear me? Maestro's here too. That better not be cold pizza. Read by nature rolls in the door. Tom, you got anything special going on that you want to promote before we get started?
No, but somebody messed with my audio.
Oh, yeah, you're a little low.
Their
You're a little low. You're a little low. I'm kind of hungry now, Tom. Why'd you do that? You're still a little low.
Let me reach.
Bye, Tom. Well, he'll be back, I'm sure. What's up, Cheese Factor? Hey, Daniel Hall's here. Good to see you, Daniel. Nice picture. Let's see if Tom sounds better. Tom.
Someone keeps messing with my settings when I go on other.
Yeah, it's very low. I don't know what that is.
What the hell?
Let me try to adjust you from my side of things.
No, don't mess with it.
Oh, okay.
That's what's pissing me off. Is somebody else already messed with my setting.
Oh, that's weird. Oh my goodness, and we have a special guest today, ladies and gentlemen. It's the boss man, Andre. Greetings, sir. How are you?
Hey, greetings. I'm good. Yeah. Just put the kids to bed, so I have to whisper, middle of writing a script. So, yeah, business as usual.
I anticipate, since you're always busy writing a script, and this time of day, I would imagine you have to whisper, put the kids down. So, yeah, absolutely.
Those buggers, the scripts, I mean, unfortunately, do not write themselves.
That's true. That's true. And you guys have been making great videos of late. So I'm glad you're both here. This is
thank you.
Going to be wonderful. We've got lots of folks in the chat saying, hey. Let's have you guys noticed that the numbers around Black Adam have not looked very promising?
Last I heard, like the long range forecasts, they weren't too promising, no. But I could see an uptick when you have like news of Henry Cavill and stuff like that. This is actually one time when I think news of a cameo actually might drive the box office a little bit.
Do you think? Well, do you think that cameo is legit?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Fair enough.
It might not be, but I think so. I think it would be very disappointing if it isn't. But I've heard from several places now that it is legit.
Okay.
I know that Tom, he hasn't heard anything to indicate that it is. Certainly up till now, but I don't know how wide information about that would spread. So I'm of the opinion that it's probably legit.
I don't think it'd be something they could keep under wraps for very long.
That may be why we are hearing like the rumors and everything coming around about it.
Here's the thing: is there's the most I heard was that yes, they would love to have him back. They haven't really had any discussions. He is busy as hell. That's what I keep hearing.
And in that case, I'm inclined to go with that because your sources have been pretty on the money with this the whole way. So if that's what your sources say,
well, that was a little older news too. But at the same time, my point being is, if they were going to use Henry Cavill, if they were going to bring him back, look at how we kind of got it leaked out a little earlier here. This, like, what was it, last month? The month just at the end of whenever it was, we learned about Ben Affleck coming back. They leaked that out on purpose. We know that.
Yeah.
And if they were there was a whole bunch of hubbub about Cavill showing up to Comic-Con and he didn't. And even if he didn't show up, you'd think if there was some kind of announcement they were ready to make, it would have been then.
Right.
Because they need to build some hype up for this movie. Now, the closest I've heard is that there's a spot for him in it. But and it's been a while since I've heard anything about it, so do take that into consideration. But in the latest test screenings, I've not heard anybody come back and say he's in the movie.
That's bonkers. All right, well, let's look at the article around this because it seems to be that this film is not tracking as they would hope. And maybe it doesn't look bad. I mean, that I can see what you're saying, especially with the super suit, but it's tracking for one of DCE's weakest box office runs ever.
I'm not surprised because I have to say, like, just looking at the trailer, boy, was that boring and generic. I kind of got the feeling of Venom, like a movie that's 20 years out of time. Like, it feels like a movie that should have been like made around 2009, 2010, thereabouts. That's kind of like where it fits. I get the impression of like, that's where we are with comic book movies. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe what we need right now is a return to like the, Marvel's Phase 1 era.
Right.
So maybe that can work to the movie's advantage. I don't know. But I was too impressed. I don't even like the character of Black Adam.
Yeah, again, I mean, it seems weird. This is where we're at. With the polar opposite being Shazam and so on and so forth. But look, this obviously this is coming from one of the regular sources we got this covered, so you can take it with whatever salt you want to. But
Plus, news, where did they get it from?
Lots of places. I mean, if we look, we can actually look at the numbers real quick. This is from Box Office Pro and their projections, and we look at it. We scroll down and we look at what their projections are for the film, and it's projecting an opening between $55 and $70 million. And then they're looking at a domestic run between 135 and 175. Those are some very weak numbers for a superhero film in North America.
And they also seem extremely plausible, given that this is, to most people, I think, a relatively unknown quality. And as Tom has pointed out many, many times, The Rock on his own doesn't really sell tickets.
No.
So, and what I've observed many times, without there being any kind of like reliable, predictable, without that being something you can use to predict the future, is what I'm trying to say here.
Right.
But I've observed many times in the past that the long-range forecast, more often than not, is pretty dead on with what ends up being the final tally. The final one, to just before the movie opens, that's the one where you have the edits, and then typically it's going to revert back to the long-range forecast. So those numbers to me seem extremely plausible, and that's being soft for a superhero movie coming out in the States or in North America.
Yeah.
I agree, but for a movie like Black Adam, I would expect no more. Like, where's the hype?
Well, it's concerning, or it's worrying, I guess, if you're a DC fan, because what if this film performs what if this film performs as poorly as, let's say, League of Super Pets? League of Super Pets topped out at 90 million domestically. That would be a catastrophic failure. That'd be a flop of unmentionable proportions. They really can't afford for that. This opening is sad enough as it is, $55 to $70 million. What other little known DC character has had a solo film of note? Maybe would Shazam,
Joker.
Yeah, but I mean, did that have? But I mean, as far as like a cinematic,
actually, that sounds more comparable to something like Shazam. I mean, and I can't remember what Deadpool did in its original opening, but I mean, honestly, that doesn't sound like a horrible opening, and it's probably one of the biggest. Even if they get to the low end of that, like I bet you that'd still be one of The Rock's biggest openings.
You think so?
Yeah,
70 million.
Oh hell yeah!
I would hope, for their sake, that when they budgeted the movie, they were anticipating an opening in that range, because they never should have anticipated anything more than that. Because remember, the movie that this is the closest thing to is Shazam, because it takes place like in the Shazam verse of the larger DC extended universe.
Right.
And Shazam didn't exactly light the box office on fire, now did it?
No.
And this one is an even more obscure character than Shazam was. So I would hope that they would have budgeted for this.
Yeah, but the question is it going to get to $500 million? Because, I grabbed a few comparisons, right? I grabbed Shazam also. Shazam domestically performed at 140 million. Wow. Production budget Shazam was only $85 million. That's crazy. Domestic open for Shazam was 53 million. I put Birds of Prey in there for fun, but Black Adam 55 to 70. I don't know. I if this opens that low, Shazam at 53. They're counting on inflation, maybe. This film could be in a lot of trouble.
Compared with everything else, it's not great numbers, and for that, Warner can thank the previous administration for greenlighting the movie in the first place.
Yeah.
So the best thing they can do right now, I think, is well, they obviously must have seen it and decided, yeah, this ain't too bad, so this can carry on with minimum changes.
Or they didn't want to upset The Rock.
That too, if they want to continue using him in the future. But if the movie really underperforms, if the audience doesn't respond to the movie, then what's the point? Then he's going to have a very limited future with the DC universe anyway.
Yeah, wow, it's just very strange. But this article actually references the Box Office Pro projections, which are fairly close most of the time. But it does wind up as being one of the worst performances, I would say. And as of the latest data, Black Adam is poised to be somewhere between 55 and 70. That's not too bad, but it's only above Shazam, Birds of Prey, and Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 1984. And let's see, these three films came out in a point where we were dealing with the global crisis, right? The pandemic, because Birds of Prey was on the front end of it.
Just before.
Yeah, Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman were right in it. And man, that would be really bad.
It would. It would not be great, but again, I maintain that they made the wrong movie, which is why I'm not surprised by the numbers. Because this is a movie that I maintain, because of Shazam, it has maybe some level of stigma attached to it, plus very limited audience appeal. Like, the biggest selling point that it has is The Rock. And as already established, he's not a huge draw on his own. So the whole movie, to me, was ill-advised in the first place.
Yeah, what is the budget of this one compared to Shazam?
Probably way too high.
I'm gonna guess it's 200 million. Shazam was, well, we had it a second ago. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Shazam production budget was sitting at 85 million.
And this one you think is twice that?
What do you think?
I'd be shocked if it was as much as 200 million. If they say it's 200 million, I think they lie. I think this one is going to have cost 120, 130.
Oh, wow, he's wrong. According to verified source, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam is a big budget film, and the production budget for the film is between 185 and 200 million dollars, including P&A costs.
Wow.
Jesus, they're going to lose so much money.
That's all together. So that means they have to make about 600 million on this at least.
Oh, wait, including P&A?
Am I still low?
Yeah, you're still low. I turned you up a little on my side, but you're still low.
Is that better?
Yeah. Black Saber says, I've only seen a pop-up for Black Adam, like maybe twice. Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of advertisement outside of the trailers. Are they advertising it abroad? Andre, have you seen anything for this film?
No, not yet.
They better be, because that's the one place The Rock is actually a draw.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you put him in your movie, is because he's an international draw.
But Norway is a bad example, because we never start promoting movies here until like 2 weeks until they open. You never see a trailer before then.
Well, we're closing in on it. We're closing in on it.
So yeah, I'll let you know. I don't think I've seen anything yet. I've seen it when I for various reasons have switched the VPN to other locations. Yeah, then I may have seen like a I know I've seen Woman King trailers. I think I may have seen like a German Black Adams, but I think I may have seen that.
Ellie Yap says, I haven't seen any ads over here in my country. And we have a super chat that's throwing some praise at us. Christian Delorme for a Canadian $5 says, hey, mofos, that would be us. Why don't you guys take a bow in front of Andre? Hi, Andre. On how great both of you are. Andre, these two guys make me want to become a member. Well, hey, I'm glad you are a member here and over there and everywhere, Christian Delorme. We appreciate your support, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words.
Yeah. Keck says he saw 2 commercials during football yesterday, and that would be like the audience that you're shooting for, the male 35 to, to 54. That's going to be who's going to go to this film. So maybe 24 and up. Hard to say. I don't know. I'm just worried because if this film flops, where are they going to go? I mean, you guys were talking about it, or I should say we were talking about it yesterday a little bit with Chris. Where do you pivot? I mean, they're right now, according to all these people that are being interviewed over in the Royal Television Society stage the last couple days, they've all been talking about, the various things that are happening within their organizations. And the guy that's in charge of international for Warner Brothers spoke and basically said that they were putting together a 10-year plan for DC and that they were putting a team in place to do that. So do they abandon the casting choices that they've made after what Aquaman? Do you think that we see anything else with any of these cast members again, Andre, or no?
Absolutely. I think they keep working with the cast that they have, because a total reboot with a complete recasting across the board, I think, is very high risk. I mean, just look at the Batman. It did okay. It didn't blow everyone away. What if you were to do a complete and total reboot and recast, and it doesn't work? What if it keeps on doing middling numbers? You lose the audience confidence completely. No, I think that at this stage, the best thing they can do right now is to gradually rebuild audience confidence. I don't think that Black Adam is going to be a huge hit, and frankly, I don't think it matters. They're in this for the long run. They know that before their own movies start coming, they have to deal with the things put in motion by the previous administration. Right. Maybe they've already written them off as sunk cost, because that is one thing one can never forget here. Yeah, they're struggling a little bit with money and everything like that. They're obviously going to hope that these movies do as well as they possibly can, but they can always hide behind, and not just hide behind, this is an actual thing. These are the products of the previous administration. Yeah. They may have patched them up, made superficial changes to make them align with the future plans, but these aren't the Saslow administration's movies. That alone means that all they have to do is hopefully break even, and anything beyond that is a bonus. And if they don't do that, it's not going to change a single thing going forward, because they already are working on plans, and they won't really be affected by what happens with these next couple of movies coming out, I think.
I think you're right. And to answer this question, Ironcast, we're about 3 weeks out. I think the Thursday previews are the 20th of October. So we're about 3 weeks out. Right? Is my math right? A little more.
Which day you said it was coming out?
The Thursday previews in the States is October 20th.
Okay, that sounds about right. Let's check the calendar here.
Yeah, it's the 27th. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. This movie could flop.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man, that'd be rough. And I don't know that it's going to get into China. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that it was.
Probably not, unless it flops and China doesn't consider it a threat to their own movies.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think they're a month too early. They should have saved this for the Thanksgiving window. Everybody bailed out of December because of Avatar. with the exception of obviously, Black Panther. Doesn't Black Panther kind of run in there?
Would be
I think Black
hilarious
Panther's
if
set for Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, I think that's why Black Adam probably didn't want to.
And now we're hearing that Black Panther's almost 3 fucking hours long.
Is it really that long?
2 hours and 43 minutes.
fantastic. So not only are we dreading the movie, because I'm dreading all movies now, it's long on top of it. Well, it can always be a pleasant surprise, I guess, but man, they've gotten so pretentious.
James Hurley's asking me a gaming question. I will take Uncharted 4 all day, James Hurley, over.
And there's an argument to be made that really what the biggest detriment to the Batman's box office is its fucking running time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if they could have cut it down, they could have got an extra screening or two in a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have helped in the end, but I think it would have helped a little bit.
Biggles, I think the Cavill appearance, if it actually exists, is a short time frame cameo. And I don't know I don't know that that's going to influence a lot of people, especially if that comes out. If it's like, oh no, he's just in the last minute or whatever. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to be excited for that. But a 3 hour Black Panther, no thank you. Speaking of which, Andre, do you guys have any movie programs that allow you to have unlimited food, like endless popcorn buckets, or anything like that? Do you guys have anything like that there?
No,
like sodas, beverages.
Not unlimited. That's like an American thing. What you have like various membership clubs and stuff like that, which will give you like 10-15% off every single order. But unlimited popcorn or unlimited soda, no way. Not in Norway.
Well, here in the States, we had a company try to do it, and then they got bought up by another company who thought that it might work. And, that kind of ended badly for all concerned, to the point now where they're actually engaged in a fraud suit with the SEC.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, because I was like wondering, I would be wondering if someone has that as a business model. Hey, we're just going to give stuff away for this little money. What are they hiding? What kind of what's this for front for? Like drug money or what?
Yeah, I don't know, but the service here was called Movie Pass.
Yeah, I remember that. Like Tom did a video about it. I was mostly checked out of that, but yeah.
Well, the SEC decided to go after the parent company, Helios plus Matheson, for fraud. So, in the complaint filed with the U.S. District Court in New York Southern District centers on Ted Farnsworth and Mitch Lowe. They intentionally, these are bad words. They intentionally
Movie Pass is back though, guys.
and repeatedly disseminated to the public materially false or misleading statements concerning Movie Pass and key aspects of Movie Pass's business model. So they allegedly misled investors in suggesting that the company could profit by offering an all-you-can-eat movie-going for just $9.95 a month.
That seems insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but AMC managed to do a similar thing and pull it off, so I don't know.
A-List is like just viewing tickets, right? Just like
you get popcorn and other deals with it too, though.
Really?
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit. I'm trying to remember if it's only $10 a month or if it's 20.
I thought it's 25.
It might be 20, but yeah. Well, that's what we kept saying is that Movie Pass cannot sustain itself.
No.
And I don't understand how the fuck they're doing this without deals with the theaters, and the theaters were not real keen on doing the deals they wanted. Yeah.
When it originally came out, Andre, it was $40 to $50 a month for this.
That seems more like it right away.
Yeah, and I just don't see that works out well for anybody. But anyway, Helios bought MoviePass in 2017, saying they were going to leverage its data from moviegoers in various ways. In other words, you are the product, right? It's another one of those.
Yeah.
But of course, it cratered and went bankrupt in 2020. Several months ago, one of the company's co-founders, Stacy Spikes, announced an effort to revive the scandal-tarred brand. Spikes has acknowledged that the ill-advised discounting, which happened after he had left the firm, was the undoing of MoviePass. Apparently, this Mr. Lowe was CEO of MoviePass from 2016 to 2020, and Farnsworth CEO of Helios plus Matheson. So, yeah, it's a 35-page complaint. While there's a couple organizations in the States you don't want to be in a lawsuit with, and the SEC is one of them. That's bad. So, yeah, that didn't end well. For something like this to work, Andre, what do you think? You think a company would have to charge what, $40-$50 a month?
I really can't say, because it depends on. For one thing, it obviously depends on exactly how many would be doing this. Like, what's the target on? Like, what's the number of people that they're calculating on here? Because it has to be like big enough to account for those that see this as a license to, I'm going to go to the movies every single day now, and this is my dinner every single day.
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some of this, so it has to be many enough that you capture this, or you account for this, and the average rolls down to this is affordable. Let me see. That's why it would never ever work in Norway, because there's not enough people that something like that could be profitable. Because obviously anything can be profitable as long as you have enough people who just pay a little bit each. And in Norway, it's just not enough install base that, or enough population that something that could ever be successful. In the States, I'd have to do the numbers.
Yeah.
But it does seem like a really tall order to make something like that successful. It does.
I couldn't imagine $40-$50, because I believe that they were also fulfilling ticket orders at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. So
I mean, most people can afford that, but at the same time, it's like it starts to sound expensive for what it is. I mean, you can get a lot of things for $400 or $500, and also with that, if you pay that, it's going to come with an implied obligation. Now you're going to eat. Now you're going to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm spending $50 a month, let's say, I'm going to a movie twice a week, 3 times a week, like Chris Gore does, and I'm going to eat everything at the snack bar. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, if I had something like that,
it just doesn't seem like a very sound investment deal, right? Like,
for anything.
Yeah, unless you get a deal with the studios or something like that, you're just pretty much eating into your own profits.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I mean, Marby Dog suggests $1,000 per year per person, $2,000 for a family of 4 for unlimited movies and snacks. I don't know how that would be a sustainable model either. Taking your family, a family of 4 to the movies, you're dropping $100 maybe. Family of 4 here in the States.
It isn't cheap, but it's also cheaper than doing a lot of things. I keep reminding people of that.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so you spend $50 on entry and you spend $50 on food, because I mean, food's crazy expensive at the theaters. So,
well, yeah, that's a whole nother. Well, and as I said, that's of course. Again, it's one of those things where, other than AMC doing it the way they're doing it, I don't see how any other company.
Yeah, but that's just for ticketing, isn't it? I mean, you said that maybe they throw in popcorn once a month.
You get free popcorn and things like that. But that's my point. Is like,
well, popcorn costs nothing. See, most people don't realize this.
Yeah,
popcorn is one of those cheap production items, right? Just like soda. Soda is like very cheap. So,
well, it's just a matter of a lot of the reasons this shit is so expensive, right? We know why. It's because of the studios and all that kind of shit. And why they need the concessions to make money now is because they don't make any money off the ticket sale. And that's the whole reason why it's all become the way it is. But
yeah, Tommy suggests that at B school they're only learning the subscription model in all their classes. That could be true. Yeah, I mean, it's like Biggles like I could eat $1,000 worth of popcorn, which probably costs $10, bro. It does. Popcorn is cheap. Soda's cheap. Most people don't realize those things. Those concessions are major profit drivers, and yet they continue to raise the prices on things. A lot of people, they'll get massive food. Lots of people like popcorn. I think one of our friends here said that they get the giant burrito when they go. Yeah. Olaf says, get a double XL bucket of popcorn for free on special movie nights. Wow. There you go. Yeah, corn is also a subsidized commodity, so it's very cheap. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, one last thing I wanted to cover, because we've only got an hour to work with today, is the thing that the stream was kind of based on. Is this conversation around the idea that streaming services and anything else can be delivered. They can put their content in the memory hole at any point in time. And, obviously we've been pointing out, and so is the trade papers has been pointing out that HBO Max has been memory holding shows and films and things like that. It's actually a bigger number than we thought. They appear to be inexplicably purging streaming exclusive movies from the service. And to date, according to Deadline, at least when this was last updated, it is 37 titles.
I'm not surprised. This is always the problem with streaming. When you buy something on streaming, you don't actually buy it. You rent it.
Yeah.
You rent it and you save it on someone else's hard drive. You just get to view it and nothing else. So yeah, I'm not happy about it at all. I mean, that's why I'm all about physical media.
Yeah.
Because that's something that can be trusted. This can't.
Well, and we also can't trust them with the content that they have in their libraries, because they can edit it, censor it, reshape what we see.
Too. Yeah, and that has happened. Like, for instance, WandaVision. They, after the initial broadcast, Disney Plus, they went and they made some changes to the end credit scene there to make it more aligned with the movie, which of course is one thing, but still, they made some changes, and they can do that at a whim with for any reason whatsoever. I mean, we've already seen how they decided that Splash is problematic because of its nudity, so they went and they changed that. You can do that for other things.
Yeah, and it looks ridiculous, the change that they did. And it again, if it was fine back then, there is no reason it isn't fine now. But James Hurley asked us a question: will Zaslav cancel the remake of Wizard of Oz and the Last of Us show? The Last of Us show is basically done. I don't think they're gonna. I think that's gonna run on the service. Wizard of Oz, my guess is it's already well into the production cycle. I don't know, Andre. Do you have any insight there?
I certainly have no inside information.
Yeah. The woke Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I know the woke rainbow Wizard of Oz, the Wizard of Oz that is supposed to reflect what the world looks like today by doing wild over-representation, so it doesn't look anything like the real world. Maybe outside of like Pride Parade in San Francisco, if that's what you mean by the real world, and yeah, probably, but beyond that, not so much. I don't know. I have no idea what Zasta is going to do with it. If it's cheap enough, and you think it can be like a genre thing on the cheap, why not?
I can see it being ill-conceived in a sense that they know that the Wizard of Oz is so huge in the gay community, and they think this is going to be a good idea. See, that's the thing, is I've tried to warn people, just because, Zaslav is pro, bringing things back up to profit and putting things out there that people want to watch, doesn't mean they're not necessarily going to be less progressive. It just means we're not going to get the stupid woke bullshit, most likely. Now, this could come off as stupid woke bullshit, but I can see in this kind of like somebody could have convinced them that, you know, this is going to work because of the whole reason. But also have to remind people that it's not like Zaslav greenlights every little thing, right? I mean,
he doesn't. Yeah, he does get his hands more dirty than most CEOs of entertainment.
But he doesn't
entities,
control everything.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not a you know.
He won't bring his attention won't come to it unless there's a problem. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, and again,
he's more concentrated on DC and other things right now.
And also, if there is a property where like a really rainbow alternate take might work, it's this.
It's true. They got the writer from Blackish, Barris, to come in on this one to write it, but you know, I don't know. And as far as, like I said, as far as the show, The Last of Us, I think that thing's still coming. And you know, but they are removing shows from the platform. They removed whole seasons of shows, including Vinyl. To me, I imagine they're also looking to market or lease out their IP, or you know, sell it out for terms. I mean, Zaslav's already talking today or yesterday about the idea that they're going to actually allow the licensing of their characters, their comic book characters, to other creators. Like, I don't know, maybe you get somebody like Todd McFarlane involved.
That's been a recurring name, and I don't blame them. That makes perfect sense because look at what they have done in-house. The only thing they've done is completely ruin it. They haven't done anything worthwhile. Well, I'm sure there's some titles here or there that must have been worthwhile. But at a company level, the only thing that DC Comics has done in the past decade is devalue the brand.
Yeah.
And it's not making anything on them. If you license, just by doing that, it's instantly going to be more financially successful for Warner Brothers Discovery than the DC publishing division will have been in the past 30 years, just by the mere act of licensing. It's not going to bring in much money, but it's going to bring in more money than publishing is doing right now.
Right, but it also, at the same time, I think, kind of perches the woke element from the character that you just licensed, because whoever picks it up is going to want it to make money.
Exactly.
So they're going to not allow for any of those shenanigans.
And it's a perfect solution in a sense, because one, you're able to monetize it. Two, you let someone else fix it without dealing with the kind of blowback that you'd be getting from the Twitterati. Say you license it from McFarlane. McFarlane is probably going to do it right. And then all of the Twitterati mob is going to go against him.
Yeah.
While he's going to pay Warner, and he's going to do probably he's going to make the comics look more like the toys, going to do like a separate toy line for it, promote them together and make them successful that way. Get his toy audience into comics and everything. At the same time, the built-in DC Comics collectors, they'll be there, and maybe someone that have fallen off the wagon in the past couple of years will come back as well. I mean, it's a win-win all around in the situation where they are.
I think so, and it does solve all those problems. So you're 100% right, Andre. And it will, especially if you get the right person involved, McFarlane, somebody like that. It's gonna generate toy sales again, lots of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart. I like it. It's a good way to go. But No More Please says at some point the convenience of streaming is destroyed by encroaching price hikes. I think we're already there, to be honest with you. I think that as more people around the globe start to feel the real squeeze, I think there are going to be fewer and fewer people, signing up for multiple streaming services. And let me tell you, the ad model doesn't solve that problem. I don't know, Andre. What do you think?
I think streaming has destroyed itself with competition. You have too many big bodies that are fighting against each other. Yeah. My view is that they should all just have acknowledged that, okay, Netflix is here now. Netflix is to streaming what DVD and Blu-ray is for physical format. So let's just accept that, and we make our money on software with them. Instead of everyone has to have their own streaming service. The only thing that they have done is to have a new format war. Like what they've done with the streaming wars is the equivalent of HD DVD versus Blu-ray versus DVD versus DivX versus Laserdisc versus VCD, all at the same time.
Yeah. Wow.
Like they've ruined themselves.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's funny because I was writing a story today that I couldn't really get. I've spent 2 hours trying to write a story for a video today. And I was like, I can't do this. The pool is so diluted with the streaming services. It's just, it's insane.
It's exactly as we predicted. There will be no winners, and our genre properties will be used as pawns in a game of chess.
Yeah.
So you might have halfway decent series that'll be cancelled like really early on.
Well, there's just I don't know. I just feel like there are going to be maybe 3 or 4 solid streaming services, and the rest of them will limp along. And we are already seeing the whole reason, and this was part of the video I was writing. We're already seeing the cable model, the cable bundle is returning. The whole reason you cut the cord is gonna be gone, because you cut the cord so you could go watch your programs on Netflix and maybe a few choice services, premium services perhaps, and that was it. And then you got a sports package maybe if you did that or whatever. And now we're back to the full cable bundle, or we will be back to the full cable bundle, especially if CEOs like the guy over at Paramount and everybody else has their way. So it's insane.
Absolutely. And I will say one more thing. Those that cut their cable, I think they did so out of a misunderstanding. I don't think they realized that what they're really gung-ho on right here is rental.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, I think
this goes all the way back to what, our almost 4-year conversation now with Bill Hunt of the Digital Bits about.
Yeah, I think 4-year conversation.
Yeah, basically we predicted all this shit was going to happen, and this was their whole reasoning for it. Because from the beginning of time, the reason the studios have been against VCRs and have always been for formats that they have more control over is that reason and that reason only. They do not want you to technically own these things forever.
No.
They finally gave into VHS mainly because they couldn't do anything legally about it.
No.
And it is at least a format that it deteriorates over time.
But they've tried to do that. And then here's the thing. They've often tried to misuse Grace Note on DVDs and Blu-rays to insert new content or trailers or whatever else via the internet, to your internet attached, Blu-ray players.
Not too many people really use it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
They tried to. But yeah, and you're right, a lot of people didn't use it. But and you know what, Maestro, a lot of people cut the cord because of commercials. I have to tell you,
cut the cord because of commercials. I just cut the cord because of the excess of nothingness.
Yeah,
like, that's really what it was just too much nothing. There was never anything on, and it was just, we had 500 channels of the same shit over and 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 over again.
And it's, and people are in the chat, talking about this, with how many different streaming services there are. I think maybe Awesome One here had mentioned that just on his connected TV, he's got like over 100 streaming channels. On Roku, I can get thousands of different streaming channels. In fact, if I wanted to, I could publish my YouTube channel to Roku as its own entity. As its own OTT service, but there's a lot of hoops to jump through to make that happen. But at a certain point, people just want a singular solution, and that's why I think we're going to end up with these bundled packages all over again. Yeah. Tom's still pretty quiet, but we're nearly done. We've only got a few minutes left. Anybody's thoughts on any of these any of these subjects beyond what we talked about today, the
Blame
memory
Andre.
hole.
He's been putting me to work.
No, that's fine. The memory hole, any of that, additional thoughts? No, yay, maybe.
Stay physical.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I see a question here. Brian Barth wonders, can a DVD deteriorate? Yes, it can. It absolutely can. This is something that many became aware of around like 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
The first version of it was air bubbles between the layers of DVD.
That's right.
Which is something
Called
you can
disc rot,
physically see.
basically.
Yeah. And then you have disc rot on top of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, a DVD can absolutely deteriorate.
But that's usually down to a manufacturer or like the disc rot is down to them using cheap glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm still not convinced that an environmental issue has something to play into that.
Oh no.
Because I've noticed, here's the thing. Anybody who's dealt with disc rot, it seems like people I talk to about it, if they have dealt with it, it's because they have an excessive amount of it. That tells me that they're leaving their movies in a place they shouldn't be.
Yeah, they're usually in a non-temperature,
because I've only
sound
had
location.
Outside of burnt discs, because like those are flaky, because of the way they're sandwiched. Outside of burnt discs, I've only had like 2 or 3 discs that I could say have disc rot on them as far as DVDs.
Yeah. I have also only experienced exactly 2 discs. Of course, I haven't done a recent check on all of them, but the only ones I know of, like in more than 20 years, are exactly 2 discs. And the reason I knew of them is because it was like advertised in the Norwegian trades at the time that these movies from MGM, there was an error in the printing process, which means that they would deteriorate. And indeed, when I went to check, there it was. There was the bubbles. But this was this was because of a known printing error, which was the cause of that. So that affected the Terminator, and it affected, what was the other one? Silence of the Lambs, the European versions of those.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's usually down to a specific disc or situation. Usually,
I've only had 1 disc delaminate, just 1. So
the only one I can think of offhand is I had National Lampoon's Vacation, and I don't even know if this is disc rot. This sounds more like the bubble thing you were talking about, Andre, because there's one spot in the disc.
Yeah, that's
turned like
air
brown,
bubble,
and it won't play on that. It won't even really play the movie at all now.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I swore I've watched this before, so I know it hadn't had that problem before. And then I can't remember the other movie I had that had disc rot on it, but it was a dual-sided disc, which is probably the problem you had with Terminator over there, because I think that was a dual-sided disc originally, if I'm not mistaken, from MGM. So yeah, a lot of those had a lot of problems, but that was because of the glue. And again, I think it's an environmental thing that adds to that.
Yeah, probably is. But beyond that, I've had no trouble with any of my discs. And I saw someone here that War Monkey says my Dreamcast discs are still good, so I have that going for me. Yeah,
I've never heard of Blu-rays ever having discs.
No, never. And I would anticipate the same thing for the Dreamcast discs. Those were made with quality. And actually the same thing with my own original PlayStation 1 discs. The ones that I bought myself didn't get used because, I do have a PlayStation 2. And I did get a couple of PlayStation 1 discs for it. They all work fine.
Yeah. And everybody's saying, plastic will oxidize. Right. Yeah, you can lose oil in the plastic. You can get aluminum issues. Humidity plays a major factor. That's what I'm saying. If you're storing your discs in a place where you have wildly shifting humidity, temperatures, etc., that's not a good place for them. You need a nice, safe, secure location. But look, real quick, I want to get this member chat out there. I'm gonna actually throw it into the chat so I can read it. It says from Kitty Bear, who's been here for 8 months. Thanks for being here. It says, Tom, watch The Imperfects. There you go.
I did. I love the koalas in the rain.
There you go. All right. Fair enough. Oh, wait. I thought Andre only uses Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah, that's the only one I still actively use. So I have like, let's see.
I swear the script you sent me is not like you edited shit out after the script. Anyway, go ahead.
You guys are crazy. Nah, you guys are fine. Look, we need to wind down. I'm headed over to Lorena's channel for the theme park therapy session. Chris Gore is going to be making an appearance over there.
You were saying something, Andre, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andre.
No, let's see. I have like 3 or 4 games on the PS1, but the only ones that I would actively use today, that I want to go back to, are the Mega Drive ones.
Yeah. I missed the TNMT getting eaten by a choopy. I don't know what that is.
Tom, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah. But I do know this. We've got to wind it down, unfortunately, and like I said, I have made an obligation elsewhere. What do you gentlemen have coming up? I know Tom's working on a video. What's coming?
We got a video coming. We got Mead in a couple hours. Other than that,
and we got another video in the writing. So no.
Actually,
so
got 3 more videos in the writing.
In the next couple of hours here, we'll be doing a follow-up to the video that we put out a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, which was about the biggest mistake that Amazon ever did, which was when they had the Conan series and they scrapped it and they fired the showrunners, and then they went straight to HBO and basically set up House of Dragon for them, which Amazon ended up regretting because it kicked their ass. So in this video, we'll explore even further what was up with that, plus everything that is known with Conan over at Netflix, including whether or not it's going to be woke.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad you have updated information. That's for sure. Black as asks Tom, what's the name of the 5th Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
There's none.
There you go.
I was about to say, is that not Tom?
There you go.
Well, there's Venus, and then there's the other newer chick one.
Yeah, and
as far as I'm concerned, there is none.
There you go. And the Amazing 6 gives you all a list of the incredible Midnight's Edge videos. You can go and check out that playlist for the latest from Midnight's Edge. Thanks for being here, gentlemen. I appreciate you both being here. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.